Hi guys, so let's talk all about soft dramatic versus theatrical romantic. So this is what this video is about, but I also have another video on my website all about soft gamin versus theatrical romantic that you guys can check out now if you want to watch it early. It's on my website right now, but you can also watch it in 1 week when it premieres on YouTube. And of course, if you guys are still confused about your Kibbe body type, then I do offer consults through my website, and I will leave a link to those down below. Let's get right into it. If you are between soft dramatic and theatrical romantic, mainly because you see yourself more as being sexy, womanly, and sensual, and you read online that that's sort of what soft dramatics and theatrical romantics are known for, then let me tell you that that is not the end-all be-all for determining your Kibbe body type. And if that's the number one reason why you have sort of honed in on these two types, then I would say you might even want to go back to the drawing board, because this is all about the bones and all about the structure of the body and the lines of the body, and not so much about personal style or anything like that. You can see here on the left Tyra, soft dramatic, and on the right Rachel, theatrical romantic, both looking quite elegant. And the reason why I'm showing this is because if these two ladies don't know their Kibbe body type, they could identify more with the style of elegance, and they could look at stereotypes online and find that classics are known to be elegant, and so they might identify as classic. And in reality, they are not classic, because this is not so much about identifying with a certain thing or another, and it's all about the lines of the body. So what is going on with the lines of the body, and what are the differences between theatrical romantic and soft dramatic? So let's talk about the similarities a little bit. They both have yin facial features, they both have yin body flesh and curves, and they both get their yang from their bones. And it might be even harder to tell the difference between the bones of a soft dramatic and the bones of a theatrical romantic, because this soft flesh is covering the bones and it's covering the facial bones, and it might be difficult to tell the difference. But let's take a look at Tyra Banks, soft dramatic, and Rihanna, theatrical romantic, and see if we can just understand some qualitative differences about them. You can see that Tyra's bone structure is more angular, her cheekbones are more angular, her jawline is more angular, her shoulders are maybe a bit sharper, a bit bigger bones there, and her hands are also a bit bigger, and her fingers are a bit longer too. So she has that yang bone structure. But Rihanna looks overall a bit more dainty, but they both look curvy and they both look pretty soft. So the main difference is really in the bones. So I want to show you guys some examples of ladies with more taut cheeks and not so soft cheeks, so that we can understand the difference in the facial bone structure of yin bone structure and yang bone structure. So here we have Keira Knightley, dramatic, on the left, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, flamboyant gamin, on the right, and they both have pretty taut cheeks. And you can see that Jennifer's bone structure on the right is a little bit more yin, and Keira's bone structure on the left is 100% bold yang bone structure. So you can see that her cheekbones, Keira's cheekbones, are a lot sharper, and Jennifer's cheekbones are a little bit more dainty. They are not so angular. You can also see the angularity in Keira's jawline that Jennifer simply doesn't have, but they both share the same nose, so they both have an answer A, nose. When you compare Keira to Tessa, flamboyant gamin, on the right, you can see that their jawlines are the same. They are both pretty angular jawlines, but you can see that Tessa's cheekbones are a little bit more dainty and Tessa's nose is a bit more soft. So Tessa has more yin in her bone structure and Keira has more yang for sure. And you can really see that angle on Keira's cheekbone that Tessa just doesn't have. Tessa has a very dainty cheekbone structure and it doesn't have that many angles. So you can see that, I hope you can see that right here in these two photos. When you compare Tessa's angular jawline, answer A, to Marilyn Monroe's jawline, you can see that Tessa's jawline has not only the angle just at the bottom right below her lips, but also has really a sharp angle right there where the arrow is pointing, that additional sharp angle, and that is this angular jawline. And you can see that Marilyn just does not have that sharp angle there. I also put an arrow on Marilyn where that angle would be if she had an answer A jawline. So you can see that Marilyn's jawline is answer E, soft and rounded, and Tessa's is answer A. Now if we compare bodies and we compare the bone structure, we can see that Kiera, dramatic on the left, and Penelope Cruz on the right, flamboyant gamine, both have pretty different bone structures. You can see that Penelope's shoulders are more rounded, Kiera's shoulders are more angular, Penelope's arms are shorter, Kiera's arms are longer, and you can see that yin bone structure coming through in Penelope, while Kiera has primarily yang bone structure. So now let's go back to our two original examples, Tyra Banks and Rihanna. And now you can see, or I hope you can see more clearly after I showed some images of the different types of jawlines, that Tyra's jawline is pretty angular there, and Rihanna's jawline is pretty rounded and maybe tapered a little bit. It's pretty soft, a pretty yin jawline. You can see that extra angle on Tyra, and Tyra's nose is also a bit more angular and her cheekbones are the same because, again, Rihanna is theatrical romantic, so she's going to have some sharpness in her bones. I would say that Tyra and Rihanna have similar cheekbones, but for Tyra, it's because she has a yang bone structure, and for Rihanna, it's her yang undercurrent. So you can see how their bone structures are pretty different, but you can see also how similar their facial features are. They both have answer D or E eyes. I would say Tyra has in between D and E, and Rihanna has answer D eyes, and they both have pretty lush lips, and Rihanna has softer cheeks than Tyra, but overall Tyra is still soft dramatic. And now when we compare their skeleton, it's the same sort of thing. You can see that Tyra looks really quite tall. Tyra's hands are a bit elongated and slightly larger. Tyra's shoulders are a little bit more angular, and you can even say that Tyra's shoulders look a little bit broad. I would not call them broad. They simply have larger bones in them. They're primarily answer A shoulders. And overall, she also looks taller than Rihanna. I would say Rihanna looks like she's of about average height. Rihanna's arms and legs are long, but that is a part of her yang undercurrent. And if you have a yang undercurrent, that would really be only 2 or 3 answers in your skeleton. It wouldn't be most of them or even half of them. It would just really be 2 or 3 answers, such as sharp cheekbones and long arms and legs, or angular shoulders and a sharp jawline. Just 2 or 3 answers, not a ton. So you can see that Rihanna's arms and legs contribute to her yang undercurrent from a primarily yin body type. And because Rihanna's bone structure is smaller and daintier and rounder, you can see that she looks very overpowered and like she's drowning in these oversized curved lines, these oversized shapes. It doesn't really suit her that well. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about soft dramatic versus theatrical romantic lines. Soft dramatic lines have this yang embedded in them because they have the largeness of the shapes. They have large round shapes, and theatrical romantic and romantic have small rounded shapes. And when Tyra wears this kind of really oversized round shape, she doesn't look as overpowered or drowning in it because her bones are pretty large, and so she's not overpowered by larger shapes because her bones are large. You can really see the difference in how these two ladies look in some soft dramatic elements. You can see that Rihanna is definitely looking really overpowered and kind of small in comparison to these larger lines, and Tyra really looks just right, not really overpowered at all. And likewise, when these two ladies wear dramatic lines, remember that Tyra is soft dramatic, so she is a subtype of dramatic because of her yang skeleton. So when she wears this dramatic outfit, this long vertical line, the pants go straight down to the floor, the cuffs are unconstructed there and not very tailored. She looks like she is almost right at home, really. It doesn't look like she is being overpowered by this stiff blazer because she is a subtype of dramatic. On the other hand, Rihanna, it looks quite separate from her, and it looks kind of like she might be wearing her boyfriend's blazer or her boyfriend's suit and not so much her own suit. Tyra looks like she's really wearing her own pantsuit there. And when these two ladies wear Theatrical Romantic, you can see that Rihanna looks just right. It looks like it really fits her. It looks like she feels right at home in this dress, but you can see that on Tyra, these kinds of very, very small lines, very, very fitted, can make her look a little bit like her bones are pretty large, and she looks a tiny bit awkward in this Theatrical Romantic dress on the left because her bones are so large, even though both of these ladies are curvy. So this is why Kibbe body types is just so awesome and so important, because you can both these ladies are curvy and they can both be curvy, but they are a different body type, and you can see that really clearly here, how different they have looked in these different examples. When you take a look at Rachel McAdams and Rachel Weisz, you can see that Rachel Weisz on the right in the brown dress is a soft dramatic. Rachel McAdams is Theatrical Romantic, and you can see how much more angular Rachel Weisz's bones are in her face. Rachel Weisz looks a lot less dainty than Rachel McAdams does, and Rachel's bones are definitely more angular and larger than Rachel McAdams. So now we can compare their faces, and it's the same kind of story. You can see that Rachel Weisz on the right has a lot more angles in her face. So Rachel has on the right answer A nose, answer A jawline, answer A cheekbones. And Rachel McAdams on the left has answer D nose, and maybe answer D cheekbones, and answer B jawline. So Rachel McAdams on the left has a lot more yin in her bone structure than Rachel Weisz does. And now we can compare Sofia Vergara on the left, soft dramatic, and Mila Kunis on the right, Theatrical Romantic. And you can see how much smaller and rounder Mila's bones are than Sofia Vergara's. Sofia's bones are long and narrow, and if you have short and narrow bones, or if you have short and wide bones, it doesn't matter. If your bones are short, then they are always going to be yin. So you're really looking for those long bones for those dramatic bones. And if you compare their bodies, again, you can see just how much smaller and daintier and also shorter Mila Kunis looks. Mila has a short vertical line, and Sofia Vergara has a bit of a longer vertical line, and you can also see just how much longer her limbs are, and she looks like she definitely has a bigger skeleton overall than Mila. And when you compare their faces, you can see that Mila's jawline is softer and her nose is also smaller and daintier, but their eyes and their lips and their cheeks are the same, and their cheekbones are also the same, because Mila has some sharper cheekbones there. Because Mila is Theatrical Romantic, so she can have some 2 or 3 answers from somewhere in her skeleton, somewhere random, it doesn't matter, that are yang, and for her it happens to be cheekbones, but overall she still has more yin in her bone structure than she does yang. All right, so we've gone over all of this, but you might still be confused because it's really hard to see yourself objectively, and it's really hard because you've seen yourself your whole life, and it's just very difficult. So here is my tip. My tip is to take some photos of yourself wearing 2 different outfits, one soft dramatic and one Theatrical Romantic, and see which one looks better. And the reason why I say take photos and do not use a mirror is because I think we've all been there, that we sort of think we look one way, and then when we look at photos of ourselves later, we look totally different than how we thought we looked. And we've all been there. It could be good, it could be bad, but it is different. So it's always important to take photos when you do this process. So when a soft dramatic, Rachel Weisz on the left, puts on some romantic lines, some romantic outfit, her larger bones are really going to show, and it's going to look a little bit awkward on her. And when Rachel McAdams, Theatrical Romantic, puts on romantic lines, she is just going to look very cute and adorable because it's going to bring out her delicate sharpness in her bones. So you could try on simply romantic lines and see the effect that they create. And another thing you can do is just try on simply dramatic lines. So you can see Rachel in dramatic lines looks, Rachel Weisz on the left looks pretty much normal, right? She doesn't look overpowered. She looks like she's right at home in her dramatic, stiff, long blazer with a long vertical line. But you can see how Rachel McAdams looks like she is really, really tiny and really small, and it looks like a little bit separate from her, and she almost looks even more cute wearing this. So that's another sign that this is how these items look on you. So now when we have a soft dramatic putting on some romantic lines, you can see on the left again how her larger bones really show. And on the right, when she wears soft gamine lines, I would say that soft gamine is probably the farthest away, or some sort of gamine is the farthest away from soft dramatic. And you can see just how separate it looks from Rachel because it really accentuates her larger bones. Soft gamines have the shortest lines and dramatics have the longest lines. And so it really is going to look quite separate from Rachel. And you can see on the right that her bones look really large in comparison to that soft gamine dress. On the other hand, Theatrical Romantic can wear soft gamine pretty well. You can see Rachel McAdams on the left looks just fine in soft gamine. It doesn't look that bad on her, that strange on her, that separate from her, anything like that, and she looks more badass. And for more information on soft gamine lines on a Theatrical Romantic, you can watch my video titled Rachel McAdams Style Actualization, where I talk about this effect of soft gamine lines making a Theatrical Romantic look a bit more badass than they might seem. So what happens if neither romantic and Theatrical Romantic or soft dramatic really look right on you or wrong on you? Like, you can't really tell which one looks better, which one looks worse, and you still don't really know what to do here. So my suggestion to you would be to be super, super open-minded and not click away from this video, and to consider that you might be a different type altogether, not soft dramatic and not Theatrical Romantic, and that you might be soft gamine. And you can see here that Lily Cole is a soft gamine, and she doesn't really necessarily look better either in dramatic on the left or in romantic on the right. It's kind of similar. You can't really tell which one looks better. They don't necessarily look too bad on her. They don't look too good on her. You can't really tell. And so if you can't tell which one looks better on you, you might be neither soft dramatic or Theatrical Romantic. And you can see that when Lily puts on some soft gamine lines, she looks absolutely amazing. I have an entire video on her titled Lily Cole Style Report if you guys want to check it out. So, but why am I saying soft gamine specifically? The reason why I'm saying soft gamine specifically for you, if you are confused, is because if you're confused between Theatrical Romantic and soft dramatic, you might be confused if your bone structure is more yang or more yin. And so if you're confused about that, then your bone structure might be more of a mixture of a bone structure than you think it is, basically. You could have a mixed skeleton. And not only that, the gamine bone structure is the soft gamine bone structure is more yang dominant, yang leaning. And right in the middle is the soft gamine skeleton. So you go from a Theatrical Romantic skeleton to a soft gamine skeleton with slightly more yang, and then a soft dramatic skeleton with even more yang. So you might be in the middle. So you could try that out and get rid of all of those stereotypes about soft gamines not being sexy, because that is a total myth. Soft gamines can totally be sexy, and if you're here and you're thinking soft dramatic or Theatrical Romantic because you are womanly and sexy, well, take a look at these four ladies. They look so sexy in all of these images, and they are all four of these are soft gamines. So don't let that deter you, and keep an open mind and keep working on it, keep trying, and that's all I have to say. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Check out my website for the consults and leave a comment, leave some video requests, and also check out the soft gamine versus Theatrical Romantic video on my website, which is premiering 1 week early. We'll be on YouTube next week. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.